Mr. Cox, not only do we want to thank you for being such an amazing AP Physics 1 teacher, but we also want to thank you for your amazing 3 years that you've taught at Dunbar. We are going to miss you greatly next year, and we are so thankful for the experiences and all the life lessons, not only content, that we've learned from you this year. To show you what we really mean, we put together a video of your current and former AP Physics 1 students, and we just want to express from the bottom of our hearts how much we really appreciate you and love you.
So my favorite, I can't choose just one favorite memory because honestly there's way too many with him, but some of my favorite memories include him he's always been super encouraging as far as like I would be disappointed of how I did on a test, or I'd just be super nervous, and he was always there to encourage me, saying you've got this, you're a great student, stuff like that. And just class with him in general was always amazing because it was always more than just physics. Like, he taught us way more. He taught us about life, he taught us about other science, he just taught us everything. So
my favorite thing about Mr. Cox are his stories about his childhood.
Mr. Cox has taught me to never give up and to always keep grinding.
Before I had Mr. Cox as a teacher, I had never taken a physics class before. And
Right.
the way Mr. Cox taught us physics, it really made me fall in love with the subject. And I think that's what I want to study in college now.
Thank you for making fun of me when I could not drill through the really, really thick metal. And yeah, you should have told me that it was the really, really thick metal, and you should not have laughed at me, but it's okay, because you're fantastic. Thank you.
I love Mr. Cox because no matter how hard I try to hide it, he still catches me when I fall asleep in his class.
I love Mr. Cox because he's so chill and genuinely loves teaching physics and genuinely cares about all his students.
I love Mr. Cox because he always made I-Days fun and was always there to enrich my physics knowledge.
Mr. Cox made me love physics so much that I came back for another year and student taught this year.
I love Mr. Cox because he got me to enjoy physics and the first teacher to ever make me enjoy
I love
subject.
Mr. Cox because he makes physics really, really fun to learn, and he teaches it in a very unique way.
Mr. Cox because outside of physics, he just goes beyond the curriculum and makes us really enjoy physics overall. And at the end of the year, he has this really fun competition called the Physics Tower, and that was just an overall fun.
Mr. Cox because of his loud and explosive personality and his way of teaching.
I love Mr. Cox because to this day he always smiles and says hi to me in the hallway.
Mr. Cox because he always does my secret handshake with him.
I like Mr. Cox because of his sense of humor.
I love Mr. Cox because he focuses on the bigger picture in science, like women in
I like Mr. Cox because he's funny, but he still taught me a lot.
I love Mr. Cox because even though we might not always be the best students he wants us to be, he always continues to teach us because he loves us.
Mr. Cox is amazing because all the kids love him. He's a fantastic teacher. First guy I met when I came here. Fantastic human being, fantastic person, wonderful physics teacher. We'll miss you.
Mr. Cox is amazing because he tells really great stories.
Mr. Cox, you are amazing because you are a real dude, and I appreciate all of our conversations that we've had, and I've made a new friend. See you later, buddy.
I love Mr. Cox because of all the stories that he tells during class. He makes physics seem much more real. It's the type of thing that makes me want to learn more. It makes me engaged in class, and honestly, he is probably one of the biggest reasons why I love physics class and why I took Physics 2, and I'm about to take AP Physics C as well. He really got me into it, and that's why I love Mr. Cox.
I love Mr. Cox because he's good at teaching.
So, Mr. Fred Cox is an amazing AP Physics teacher because of the enthusiasm that he brings to the classroom, the time that he's willing to spend outside the classroom helping his students, and the fact that he also takes time out of his busy schedule to help them with outside interests like our FIRST Robotics team.
I love Mr. Cox because no other teacher can make physics fun.
I love Mr. Cox because he always has multiple ways to explain any given topic, and he makes it really easy for everybody to understand.
I love Mr. Cox because he not only teaches, but cares about his subject.
I love Mr. Cox because reasons. He's also the only reason that I chose physics as my major in college.
I love Mr. Cox because he makes me and everyone else laugh every day.
I love Mr. Cox because he made sure that we got ready for the AP test.
I love Mr. Cox because he was the first teacher to encourage me to go into STEM, and now I'm going to college for engineering.
I love Mr. Cox because he's the best.
I love Mr. Cox because even when I was Dane Bramage beyond repair, he still believed in me no matter the subject.
I love Mr. Cox because he cares about all of his students.
I love Mr. Cox because he explains everything diligently and is especially diligent in encouraging women to go into STEM.
I love Mr. Cox because he made our classroom environment so welcoming and friendly.